أعزائي المشاهدين، أهلا وسهلا بكم من جديد مع برنامجكم الأسبوعي برنامج إماراتي. كما عودناكم في كل أسبوع نستضيف لكم خيرة من دولة الإمارات. قصة نجاح أتتنا إلى الدولة منذ عام 2011. Madam Paula, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We are so lucky to be here with you in your company. Our team said you welcome in our program.
Thank you. No, I'm really happy to be here.
And we would like to know about yourself. Who's Paula when she comes to this country at the first time and what she's doing at this moment?
The Paula that came to Dubai was a very British Paula. Not so much of an understanding of the Middle East. And I literally arrived with a laptop and a family. So I needed to find my way in this country, and it was an interesting arrival. I had a few contacts, so I made use of the contacts, and I built a business. The Paula today built the company that you see here today in the UAE. Then I've also opened an office in the UK, and I've opened an office in the Philippines, which complements our company, which has 14 offices in the US as well.
Let's talk about the chance that it drove you here. Opportunity for your husband, did you come with him as a wife job?
Yes, absolutely. My husband had an offer with Fly Dubai, and he wanted to live near an airport. So to be at an airport and then be able to come home every night, because he's an aircraft engineer, it was an opportunity too good to miss. So in the UK, you live very far away from the airports, or it's very expensive to live near the airport. So he came home one day and he just said, do you want to go to Dubai? And I said, yeah, of course I want to go to Dubai. And he's like, no, do you want to live in Dubai? And I was like, okay, we have 4 children. I need to think how this would work. He took me out, he showed me around. I only liked the Arabian ranches because it got lots of trees. It was green, like the UK. And it was a very, very quick trip for me. And I decided, yeah, I like the look of it. I was turning 40 years of age, so it was the time to change my life. And what was the worst that was going to happen? If it didn't work out, I would go home. So I told my mother I would go for 2 years, and 10 years later I was still here. So yes, and when I was going from the UK to the UAE, a couple of the shipping companies said, will you open an office for me in Dubai? And I said, okay, knowing that's a job opportunity and I had contacts. Again, what was the worst that could happen? It wouldn't work and I would get a job. So yes, I packed up everything. I brought my laptop and I arrived, and I just started sending messages around the world and said, I'm here, I'm in Dubai, I can clear your goods, I can deliver your goods, I can do your documentation. And they started sending shipments. And I was like, oh my goodness, now what? Now what do I do? So I had to get in the car, drive around and make some contacts and find some suppliers that would help me clear the goods. So that's how it started.
Oh, that's great. We should put this laptop in some museum or some area that's for your history. The laptop that you come with it.
Oh my goodness, I mean, the laptop goes everywhere with me because it's exactly what you need, but it's your contacts. It's your little black book that's really needed.
Living between multicultural under UK rules, totally different, living with more than 200 different culture or nationalities under Middle East rules.
Yes.
So how was for you the first?
Very, very different. Very scary when you first arrive. You look around, you realise the rules, you've heard different rules through social media, and you think everything is true. So I was told that you couldn't have a dirty car in Dubai. You had to have it cleaned every week. So I would have my car cleaned every week because I didn't want to go against the rules. So living in Dubai at the beginning was it wasn't tough, it was just different. But fast forward that 10 years, it's a lot nicer to be able to live with rules versus the very grey areas that you have in the UK as to what's right, what's wrong, and what you can argue. So I prefer this kind of environment because it's easy to know whether it's a yes or a no.
To be in a situation with the area that's no girls working. We can say ports, we can say ships in general.
Yeah.
The ladies, they don't have any part, but you choose to be here.
Yes. I've chosen logistics as my career of choice right from the word go when I left school at 16. So I didn't think, I mean, there was a lot of different ways women were treated in the industry in the UK, which I never pushed back on, I never argued, I accepted. So when I came to the Middle East, it wasn't daunting that I was going to have a problem. It was just, it was another challenge. But when I would meet people, they would say, you're a woman in logistics. Why?
How?
Middle East. Why? How? But I found I was treated so much better here. I would walk into customs, I would be singled out, I'd be asked what I needed, and it would be done for me. So eventually I felt like I was a princess in Dubai. So it was a lot easier for me to grow a business in Dubai versus growing a business in the UK, which I am doing now, but the challenges are very, very different. Here it's a very warm and welcoming environment for women. And I now also choose to mentor women in business because I think women have that inner girl inside who thinks they can't do it. And they forget they have a voice and that voice isn't heard. So now I will speak to a lot of women in any size company, whether they're a startup or they're a corporate, because we all have that little worry inside that we can't do it. But if you hear somebody else's story, sometimes you think you can.
Yeah. Sure. You are an example to let all the housewives thinking about job. Even after Corona, now everyone can work from home. It's easier the life for them.
Yes, it's something that I think women, especially in the Middle East, it's lovely to see, are coming out of Corona and just saying, okay, I've got this idea, I want to do it. Let's try something a little bit different. How do I do it? And you connect with other women in business or other people that will mentor you, and it gives you that confidence. And everybody can try. If you do something new every day that you didn't do yesterday, that's progression.
The situation you choose is that you are in the hub.
Yes.
Dubai hub for the world, and you connect all the world, all these people together. How you start with the relation between all these parts?
I've done a lot of international networking. So my company is part of 4 different networks, which is quite normal in logistics. So for me, I've always traveled around the world and connected with other people. So that dynamic isn't too hard. You just need to connect with a person in a country and then see what they can offer and what they can bring to the table. And then you find the business starts and then it evolves. So Dubai is a fantastic place in the world for logistics to be the hub, because if you're going to speak to somebody in the Far East, it's not so far for them to come here as it is to go to Europe, and vice versa. So I've created probably now 3 network conferences here in the Middle East, because then more people can come because it's in the middle for everybody and it's fair.
People start studying or graduating for business administrator to understand or to be in your position. Mm-hmm. Did you take any courses or any special?
No, I'm terrible for that. I left school at 16 with no qualifications, and I just worked from the bottom. And it's funny because it's a conversation I had with my husband for our own children. Should they go to university or should they get a job the minute they finish school? And that's still an argument that's ongoing, even though my children are all finished, 2 did university and 2 did it the other way. So maybe we got 50-50 share. But no, I haven't taken any qualifications, and I'm self-made and work hard. And these guys in this office, when we set up the office, there was some filing to be done. I got down on my hands and knees and I will file those things. And they're like, no, ma'am, no. And I'm like, no. You're busy on the documentation. I will get this done. We need to do it. So what you should always do is just, if you want your guys to work alongside you, you need to work alongside them. So that's exactly how I do it. Did
you switch your phone for one day completely?
Did I switch my
phone?
Yeah.
For one day complete without using it?
No. My phone is my life. Unfortunately, logistics never switched us off.
So when you have time for the home?
You have to make time. You choose to turn the phone over and you give your children an hour, because every time you need to pick up your kids from school, or they need help with their homework, or they just need some advice, you have to put your phone on silent and give them the time, because that will wait and your children will continue growing, and before you know it, they've left home, they've gone. So you have to take each opportunity as you can.
Always in the business, the asset our employees or our team or our sister companies. So how the relation with them can be more stronger?
I love my team. I always call them my work family. So I think when you're bringing up a family, your family is very, very much the same as your work family. If you understand everybody and you listen to their problems and you just give them a little bit of time, it does come back to reward you. There has to be mutual respect on both sides. How can I respect that they will work hard for me if I don't respect them? So what's important to them has to be important to me as well. It's a learning curve. I'm not always going to get it right, and I'm sure my guys will say sometimes I haven't got it right, but I try, and every day is something new.
What's the difference between the only lady during all this challenger in the market around with your company?
What's the difference for, well, our company, Oceanwide Logistics, or OL USA or OL Dubai, OL UK is what we like to be known as. We're 75% women, and a majority of those women are in high positions. So for our company, it seems to be a way that we've just evolved. But when I'm employing somebody, it's the right person for the job. It's not a case of whether you're male or female. Here is a very nice selection of males and females in this office. In my UK office, it's all women. I didn't mean to do that. It just happened. It was the right person for the job at the time. So I'm a great believer, if you're going out on a sales call, the best team is a man and a woman, because some people automatically, want to speak to the man. And I'm quite happy. I'll back off. I'll go and make you a cup of coffee. Titles don't matter when you're in a meeting. It's the warmth, it's the communication that you can make.
Always in the logistic, we can say Corona was with the side of logistic. It make it booming, or it give it a good opportunity for all logistics.
Parts of it, yes. Obviously the PPE that moved around, the essential supplies that were short, yes. We had a boom for a while, and then we had huge problems. Containers were stuck in ports and they had cargo in them, so we had no empty containers. Vessels stopped calling at certain ports because of their own challenges. There's so many challenges, so it changed it, and I would say the best thing that came out of Corona for the logistics industry is the Teams calls, the video calls, the Zoom calls. That's the best thing, because the connection now is more. It's not just email, it's not just a phone call, it's a video call. And then your warmth and your communication styles come through the camera. It's not as good as this, to actually sit together and chat, but it's the next best thing. And I think that's the best thing that's come out of it.
So also, Madam, you are working on yourself for the technology upgrade. So you update yourself and your team or technology?
Yes, yeah. Technology is a massive thing in logistics. We have to consistently just look at our software and try and adapt. I mean, Amazon is showing the way, but we can't all be Amazon. We don't have their pockets to be able to buy all that software. So we adapt as much as we can. But for me, I really feel that the personal touch, the personal communication should never be lost. AI is amazing. Yes, I've had them write some of my emails, absolutely, because you can get the best email with AI, but you can't get the computer to create this kind of communication. So I'm a 50-50 girl.
Recently, we celebrate with Caspian Week. It was for the region of Caspian region.
Right.
That they are start communicate with Dubai or for logistic.
Right.
Do you have any activity with them?
No, not really, not at the moment. No, for us, our strengths are like the US market and the UK, European markets. That's where we are. So yeah, not so much.
Insurance, you need to be listed with them?
Insurance, we have to be listed, and just obviously you can think of all the problems that could happen with any logistics move. Massively. I mean, we've all seen the vessels with the containers that come off the side of the vessel on the big seas. So yes, insurance-wise, we have to be covered for our clients and for ourselves, and then obviously internal for your staff.
Also in the middle, how you can guarantee for your customers that the ship will come on the time?
We can't. I would never guarantee a ship can come on time. That's why we call it an ETA, estimated time of arrival. But what we can do is track the shipment. So everything that happens, we can tell the client. We can send them updated notices every time something else happens. So once it's on board the ship, once the ship arrives, once it's cleared, once it's delivered, all of those things can be done, obviously, with technology.
Women in the Middle East, we can say that they need an advice for a woman, same like you, to let them go through the business. So what's the first thing you can tell them?
Be confident. Be confident. Don't listen to what we call in the UK your monkey brain. You know, the thing that just jabbers in your head and tells you you're not good enough. You are good enough. Hold your head up high. Be confident and know your subject that you're speaking about, because women just do suffer with that problem that they think they're not good enough.
Who built Paula character?
Who built me? My father and my mother. Both of them have had a really good understanding of what I wanted to be and what I wanted to achieve. My father, who I sadly lost a few years ago, was in the military, and he installed structure and discipline into me. So he made me understand how people are in the world. My mum let me go to the Middle East, even though she didn't want me to go, but she's always shown me the warmth and the caring, and she's always been very generous with me. So yes, my mum and my dad, nobody else.
After COP28 and we are going for sustainable country or sustainable community, what's the next plan for your company?
For sustainability, it's yes, it's an interesting subject. Obviously, paperless environment is one of the first things that we want to achieve, and here I am with an email paper in front of me. That happens very rarely. But paperless environment is something that we have to do because I have a lot of remote workers. So for my office in the UK, we're remotely supported by the Philippines and Dubai. So it has to be paperless. And then the trucks have to have, we have to look at the trucks and the fuel and the way of moving cargo. We try to take as many trucks off the road as possible and put it onto rail. And then there's electric trucks that are coming forward as well. So we're trying to move forward as much as the industry will allow us. But at the moment, there's still a cost factor involved. And of course, the client won't move their freight if the cost is too high. So it's actually a struggle to keep going with that subject.
I will not ask you where we find your company online, because if we type on anywhere, Paula BELLAMY, so we will find everything about you, with award, with many things, women in top 100. So if we tell you that an advice for the newcomers who are coming to this country before they start their career as an employee or even businessman, what you will advise?
To come into this country with an open mind. It's interesting how a skill that you will feel that you've been doing perhaps for several years, you don't think it's anything special. In this country, it's really nice how you're treated so well, and that skill is utilised really, really well. So an open mind, an open heart, common sense, and follow the guidelines of the rules that are there for you, because it gives you a really nice, easy, happy life.
Finally, this country which gives us the concept that the business growth better, the security here. When we talk about the country with security, Dubai, we can say UAE number 1 in the world. What you will say for UAE leaders and government for this opportunity?
For security, from a female perspective, is amazing. That's one thing. When I was bringing up my children, I had no worry about my children's security. How they're treated in the schools, what they're taught in the schools is absolutely amazing. So for security-wise, I myself, I have also left my purse somewhere where I shouldn't have done, and it was returned to me, and my phone. It's a wonderful country for that, and you feel safe on the streets at night when you're walking as a single woman alone. So it's the loveliest place to live, and the security is absolutely amazing.
Paula, thank you so much for this time you give it for us, and welcome again in Emirati.
Thank you very much.
دفوتها لها غير وترحب